I want to help you turn your word of mouth into your superpower. And I have a specific way that you can make that happen in just 3 weeks from today, no matter what else is going on in your studio. This tool is at your fingertips, and it has proven successful for me year after year, and it's pretty close to free. So we like that part too, right? My name is Ruthie Smith, and I am part of the coaching team with Build a Music School. I am in Southern California, and just a few years back, I was teaching from my living room, and I now have an awesome growing studio here in Southern San Diego. We are bursting at the seams at the moment because we have grown so exponentially over the past 2 years, and we're in multiple school off-site locations as well. So I actually come from a background in advertising and marketing because I worked at Universal Music Group for quite a few years. And through that career, when we would put our advertising hats on, we were spending the money. We were buying ads, we were creating, we were doing all these things to get the word out about a new album or a tour with the monies. But here's the deal. We always knew that our marketing hats were going to be where the real validation was. The street teams, getting people out and telling their people. If they were excited about an artist, we knew that word of mouth was always going to be our best asset. And so we would spend money on that as well. So here's what I'm talking about for you and how to turn your word of mouth into overdrive. It's called Buddy Week. Now, I want to give you 3 things that are going to put your marketing, the Buddy Week itself, help you turn your families into that street team, turn your families into your super fans. So the most important thing to start out with is how to get them there. Now, if you go in on Build a Music School, there are tools that I've given you already through Canva, some templates that have the invitation tools, and so you can turn this into your own branding. You're invited to Buddy Week. Let's see, music is awesome, hanging out with you is awesome, so let's combine the two. It's as simple as that. So you're going to put something into the students' hands, and this can be kind of their accountability tool. Who are you going to invite? And the reason I said 3 weeks is because you need like 2 weeks to get these into people's hands. We also in there have it's essentially a social media image, but we ask families to use it just to text the family, text their friend, say, hey, here's when, here's where. The next thing that you're going to do is you are going to talk it up. This is where you want your team to have buy-in. Now, the best way to make sure that they have buy-in is to make sure that they are excited about it and feel prepared for what is that Buddy Week lesson going to look like? How do I do this when I'm not used to having, maybe I have a really advanced lesson and you're telling me that somebody with no experience is going to come in. So if you stay to the end of this video, I'm actually going to give you one of my favorite lesson plans that walks you through step by step and how it can work with multiple layers. Now, I've been doing this for a lot of years. I do this about twice a year, and I tell you what, it's working. And people ask about it because they want to bring their friends. They want to share this moment. Now, a lot of people do have studio policies where they're allowed to invite a friend from time to time. But what I found is that if I make it a very specific week with lots of anticipation and all that kind of fun stuff, we can also have giveaways. I've given away an ukulele where I had everybody from our team sign it, and we had one that was a giveaway for the buddies and one that was a giveaway for the student who brought a buddy. Now, in a few moments here, we're going to talk about what else happens on the week, like the actual lesson plan. But I do want to talk for a moment about the second important thing. And that is when they're there, one of the things that I did this year is we grabbed full-size Hershey bars and we wrapped them in these. And so some of them are kind of a try again, and then some of them have, your golden ticket looking thing with 2 free lessons. And so while people are there, they are getting that little excitement, anticipation, all that kind of stuff. Am I going to win? Am I going to win? And so then it really comes down to the follow-up. So let me show you. I kind of grabbed one of the stacks of hey, look at all these new people that have never been here before. And I got to tell you, It's all about, look at this, look at this. Hold on. Let me make sure I don't share their information with you, but enrolled, enrolled, enrolled. Look at that. Now we do have bigger systems, but sometimes just my welcome team decided that they wanted to also write things on here. So like they put them and they gave them the tag in our system, all that kind of stuff. So we have an entire system set up for follow-up, but it's so exciting to see these. Like, look, I'm counting 5 in just this stack, and this is only one of our stacks. So that's really, really, really exciting. And that's why it's going to put it into overdrive, because now every single one of these people has stepped into our studio. They had a good experience. And during it, we make sure that we always invite the parents in about like 5 to 7 minutes before the end of it. And this really, really matters, because then they are getting to film and upload it to social media, and they're proud of what their student learned in literally maybe 25 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, depending on what the lesson type is. And they can already do a thing that they learned just on that day. So the follow-up, I also have, let's see, within the library on Build a Music School, you're going to find some extra pieces for the follow-up, and there's an additional video on the system that I use at the end to make sure that people are getting tagged and everything. So go ahead and go in there as well. Okay, so, and you actually, if you are not part of Build a Music School right now, you can actually get a 7-day free trial and go in and take it all, check it all out. And the reason that we're generous with that is because we've found that people come for the content and they discover how much there is in there. It's kind of hard to get through it all in a week, and so then they end up staying for the community, because our Build a Music School community, it is very family oriented. We are encouragers, and we want to walk alongside you as you are continuing to grow your music lesson business. So the first element for our lesson plan that I wanted to share with you is actually always going to be a rhythm activity, a rhythm activity that anybody at any stage can participate in. So now I like to use, I participate in Wendy Stevens' Rhythm Cups program. And so with that, they are getting a chance to see the notes and, like there's taps and you kind of do the unicorn thing and all that kind of thing. There's even a really fun passing activity. I have stacking cups for that, or you can, if you have branded cups, you can use those. Or if you don't want to buy anything, then don't buy anything. You could use disposable cups. That works really great too. You can even ask your students to make up a pattern. So think through 1 or 2 measures with just, your regular 4 bars, or your 4 beats. And you're thinking, okay, should we have a clap or a double clap first? A clap? Okay, great. We're going to do a clap. And then should we do a tap or a double tap? A double tap? Okay, I like that. And so you see how you're just kind of building a 4-beat measure, and then you can just do that on repeat. So maybe they came up with clap, double tap, up, down, unicorn, something like that, and you just keep it going. Clap, double tap, up, down, unicorn, clap, double tap. You'd need a little bit of finessing with that one, but they can create it themselves. They can have them passing it, and then what you're going to do is you're going to put that to the music, whichever song that you decide on, and I do have one in just a moment for you to show you how that can work. You'd put that song on. Now, obviously, if they are young children, if it is a song that has a pretty kick-in, up-tempo beat, then you maybe do it halftime. Or if it is a group of adults and they are picking it up really quickly, teens maybe, then yeah, do it at full speed. You got this. Okay, the next thing is I'm actually going to give you 2 separate songs, and I'll tell you why I like each one of them. The first one is I Feel Good, na 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 na. I knew that I would. You know it. Everybody knows it. That's kind of the point. And so you can teach that super simple semitone riff on any instrument. You know it on guitar. You know it on piano. It's just white, black, white, black, white, black, white. I knew that I would. Na, 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 na. So you can teach that riff to anybody, a 4-year-old, a 74-year-old. And I've actually played it with Mad Libs with that one before. That was really fun. Oh, and that song, if I remember correctly, it's just two chords. I think it's a 1 to 5. It might be a 1 to 4. I'd have to look at that again. But that was a really big hit. I always remember that one. It was a ton of fun. Another really, really great one right now is a pop song, Me by Taylor Swift with Brendan Urie. And that is just a 1-6-4-5 pattern. And so you're going C, A minor, F, G. And if you get them playing that pattern before you tell them what song it's to, then they feel really, really cool once they start playing it, and they're like, oh. And there are often like ukulele play along videos are gonna help you with some of those. A lot of pop songs have those. So let's get to the one that I actually did just this past week. We did Save Your Tears by The Weeknd, and it features Ariana Grande. And so you can see here, you know what, I'm trying to get the okay, this is through Little Kids Rock, and it has a lot of free materials for you, and you can also get a lot of different materials within our Intro to programs, and especially the Intro to Bands program within the Band Build a Music School library. This time I chose to go with this specific song, which I found on Music Will. All right, so this would be for your band leader or your instructor, and you can see that it has the simplest of simple chord progressions right there. And then you can see, you know, how we're going to see this on keys, bass, drums, and everything. And so then what you can do is you can print out the piano chords. You can look at a drum beat that's super simple, and I really like the way they notate it. And if you have, maybe you have a piano class, but you don't have enough pianos for everybody, you can have somebody be your drummer. Even if maybe you're working out of your living room and the best you can do is pots and pans, great, that will totally work. Maybe you happen to have an ukulele somewhere in the recesses. You can have people on multiple different instruments for this, okay? And so you are just walking through them one at a time. Here, let me show you what one of my instructors did. They color coded. And so this lesson, this buddy week, this is not the time to worry about, okay, let's all find, here's where middle C is, and can everybody find it on their piano, and here's how to see it as a written note. No. What we want to do is get them engaged, get them doing something right away. So if this is the time to use your dry erasers on your keys, totally fine. They really do come right off. And so maybe you got your purple for C, a green for A minor, blue for E minor, black for G, whatever your color code you want. That's totally fine, obviously. And so the goal for your instructors is that they are getting them going through at whatever level they are at. So maybe they are only playing the bass line. Maybe they could try to add a third. Maybe they could try to add a perfect fifth. Whatever you've got there. If you have a guitar class, it is most likely going to be easiest for a person entering to follow more of an open bass line like this. Make that pretty simple. This is totally doable. It's so much fun. So what I'm going to do is make sure that you have access to all of those resources, and including the invitation, that matters, including the lesson plan itself. And with that lesson plan, here's what's most important. I said it earlier in the video, but you got to get those parents in for that validation, where they walk in and they go, my kid has never played a guitar before, and here they are playing a whole song. It's super exciting. So make sure you're always reserving those last 5 to 7 minutes so that the parents can come in and film. And it is appropriate to, in that moment, say, hey, is it okay if we post this on our social? So with all of that, I do want to make sure that your expectations are a little bit realistic, and that is that not every single one of your students is going to be your greatest publicist. That's okay. Not every single one of my students brought a buddy. That's okay. But from the youngest to all the way through to our adult students, people did bring them. And then as you saw me showing those cards earlier, the enrollment just in a single week from having people walk in these doors. My buddy weeks have been consistently even better than our open houses, which are so much fun. But it really is just as strong because not only are they here in the flesh, they're getting that validation from their friend. And because of the fact that we do small group lessons, there's often an opening for them to join their friend in the actual lesson. So it totally ends up working out for everybody's good. So go put your marketing and into overdrive. Turn your fans into super fans, but give them the tools that are necessary so that they know how and when to invite their people, and that everybody just leaves feeling like this is the best place to be and they want to stay around forever and they are ready to invest. Hope that helps, and we'll see you in the next video.